Welcome to the Power to Flourish podcast, where science meets the art of a beautiful life. I'm Dr. Andrea Lein, positive psychologist, giftedness expert and coach, and modern-day spiritual godmother to brilliant, deep-feeling women. This isn't just another self-help podcast. It's a sanctuary, a sacred space to come back to yourself. Each week, we'll explore the emotional experience of gifted, sensitive women and what it means to live a life that feels as beautiful as it may look. Because flourishing isn't a luxury, it's your birthright, and your life is waiting. This is the Power to Flourish podcast. Hi, love. I am so glad you're here. Welcome. I wanted to take a few minutes before we dive into all the incredible episodes ahead to share with you why I created the Power to Flourish podcast in the first place and why this isn't just another podcast about well-being or mindset or emotional health. Because let's be honest, there are thousands of podcasts out there. And when I first felt called to start this one, I had that inner voice, definitely had that inner voice that was like, does the world really need another show like this? Does the world really need another podcast? But here's what I've come to believe. This space does need to exist. Not because I think I have all the answers, but because I have spent over 25 years studying, supporting, and walking alongside gifted, emotionally intense, creative, multifaceted individuals. And my heart has really been called to serve the gifted woman. And to be quite honest, I have seen a gap. I have always seen a gap. Even when I was a teenager thinking about these things, yes, I was thinking about these things when I was a teenager, I saw a gap. And even though that gap is getting smaller now in 2025, there's still a gap. And a lot of the personal growth space feels and can feel too superficial for gifted women. A lot of therapy spaces, while very, very helpful, they don't always speak to the unique experience of gifted women who are like deeply intuitive, creative, sensitive, more. They're just more, beautifully more, and often misunderstood. And a lot of mental health professionals truly have no training in this. I know because I've walked in that world for a few decades. So, the traditional definitions of success, health, and even mental wellness, they don't always fit so nice and neatly for gifted individuals and gifted women in particular because of the cultural expectations we place on ourselves. So I created this podcast now because I couldn't not create it. It has been a dream in my heart for years. It's a little embarrassing how long I have sat on this, but you know what? When the time is right, the time is right. So I've just had this vision of a space where we could talk honestly about what it means to be gifted, to feel everything deeply, to burn out from overgiving, and still want to rise into a beautiful, meaningful life. And I just want to say, this isn't a space for fixing you. My PhD is in clinical psychology. And if you know anything about that field, we're trained the whole purpose really is to find out what's wrong with you and then fix the problem, right? Like diagnose, which implies pathology. And there is a time and place for that. But for me in my walk, both in that training as a psychologist in the traditional mental health spaces, I just over and over for myself came to find that medical model of diagnosis for the women I want to serve just doesn't always serve us well. And so I do not take that approach. This isn't a space to fix you. It is really meant to be a space for returning to yourself. I believe that you are whole as you already are, and you just have to come back to that. That has been my own experience, and that is what I know has been such a powerful experience for so many women. So I want this space to be a space where faith and science can sit at the same table. I am a very scientific-minded person. I've studied science my whole life, but I'm also a deeply spiritual person. And you may not consider yourself either one of those, but I hope that what I have to offer you is helpful and serves you in some way. I also want this to be a place where nervous system healing, meets spiritual alignment, and where the conversation goes deeper than just think positive. Even as a positive psychologist, which is how I identify today, there is so much nuance to positive psychology, and it is not simply just about thinking positive. So my hope is that this podcast becomes a kind of sanctuary for you, a space where you can feel less alone, more seen, and more empowered to create a life that feels as good on the inside as it looks on the outside. And you might be sitting here thinking to yourself, that's funny. My life does not look good on the outside. But if that's you, you are so welcome here. I just say that because I think for a lot of high achieving, capable, gifted women, oftentimes our life does look pretty good on the outside. Even for ourselves, we look at it and say, my life is great. And so why do I feel like I am not flourishing? So whether you're a mess on the outside or whether it looks Instagram perfect on the outside, this space is for you. So thank you for being here from the very beginning. It means more than I can say. I'll see you in episode 1. And from the bottom of my heart, welcome to the Power to Flourish. Thank you for listening to the Power to Flourish podcast. I hope today's conversation left you feeling more seen, more supported, and more deeply connected to yourself. And if this episode resonated, would you take a moment to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with a friend? It's one of the best ways to help this work reach the women who need it most. You'll find show notes, links, and resources from today's episode at powertoflourish.com. And now just a quick reminder, this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not therapy, medical advice, or a substitute for professional support. And listening doesn't make me your therapist or doctor, though if you're looking for a coach, you know where to find me. All right, beautiful one, that's it for now. Until next time, trust yourself, honor your gifts, and keep flourishing.